Could the ANC be changing its tone on illegal immigration, or has its position remained the same all along? That's the question many South Africans are asking after ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula made a series of strong statements following the June 30 anti-illegal immigration protests.
South Africa prides itself of Ubuntu. There are many things that are happening, which we agree are a direct result of illegal immigration. The ANC urges government to place this compact on the agenda of the African Union's mid-year coordination meeting at Al Ain in Egypt. It is not an instrument of exclusion, nor a retreat from the African inheritance of generosity. To those in flight, it is a structural offering rooted in Ubuntu and in solidarity of the frontline states that once sheltered our own. We are not being blackmailed when we are reminded about our history, but equally, we must address the truth and the facts that illegal immigration has become a burden for South Africa and affected South Africa and South Africa alone.
According to Mbalula, the ANC has consistently acted against illegal immigration through deportations and stronger border enforcement. He insisted that the party's record shows it has not ignored the issue, despite growing criticism from some communities who believe government has not done enough. But perhaps his strongest remarks were about the June 30 demonstrations themselves. Mbalula acknowledged that there were incidents of violence, intimidation, and looting during the protests. However, he said law enforcement responded by enforcing the law and would continue to act against anyone involved in criminal activities. He also dismissed claims that the nationwide shutdown had succeeded. According to Mbalula, South Africa largely continued to function as normal, with businesses operating, people reporting to work, and public services continuing in many parts of the country. Those comments have already sparked a fresh political debate.
Movement from accusation to understanding, from blame to shared responsibility, from crisis to compact. That is the movement we need to build. We need to set the record straight. 2 decades of action on immigration. A lie is circulating in our politics that the ANC government has done nothing about undocumented immigration. The opportunists repeat it. Too many swallow it. Today, we place the facts on the table and we let the people judge for themselves. The removals, the numbers do not lie. The democratic state, led by the ANC up to the point of the GNU today, has legally deported hundreds of thousands of people who had no lawful right to remain in the Republic. Between January 2012 and December 2016 alone, some 370,000 people were deported. Nearly 9 in 10 of them our neighbors from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Lesotho. And the pace has quickened, not slackened. From 39,000 removals in 2023-2024 to 51,000 in 2024-2025, a 30% rise, and again to 57,000 in 2025-2026, with tens of thousands more this year at our ports of entry and in our communities. This is not the record of a government that has done nothing. It is the record of a state that enforces its laws, year in, year out, firmly and lawfully. This does not catch the cameras and the media. What catches the media is those who enter illegally in our country and settle in their numbers. around our townships and the metropoles. This is not new and it is not small. At its peak in 2007, the democratic state legally deported some 300,012 people in a single year, the highest on record, and the work continues at our frontiers today. In a single festive season, the Border Management Authority intercepted more than 50,000 people at our ports and borderline, and attempted unlawful crossings have since fallen sharply. This is a state that acts and has acted for 2 decades. When the courts state our hand, here is the part the opportunists never tell you, time and again. When this government has moved to enforce immigration law, it has...
Some South Africans agree with Mbalula, arguing that the country cannot allow violence or intimidation to replace the rule of law. Others believe the protests, regardless of turnout, reflected genuine frustrations about illegal immigration, unemployment, border security, and crime. So here's the big question. Was the June 30 shutdown really a failure, as Mbalula claims? Or did it succeed in forcing government to pay more attention to illegal immigration? What do you think? Did the protests achieve their goal? Or do you believe more still needs to be done? Let us know in the comments below, because we want to hear your opinion. One thing is certain. Immigration remains one of the most sensitive issues in South Africa today, and the debate is far from over. Welcome to Fikile Podcast TV. If you enjoy our South African news and political analysis, don't forget to subscribe to Fikile Podcast TV, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Now, let's watch the video and hear exactly what Fikile Mbalula had to say.
Democratic Alliance, and delayed by others in that house. It took us a long time to establish BMA. It is an easy thing to shout about borders on a march. It is another thing entirely to vote to secure them. The ANC did the work, others stood in the way, and now pretend otherwise. In fact, the Democratic Alliance, including the Minister of Home Affairs, who has been praised the other day, have gone silent on this particular challenge. I've never seen him. The DA is very fast to claim victories. They met with Jacinda and his group in secret. They've never raised their voice. Where people were being attacked right in the city of Cape Town. I never saw even the mayor of the DA in the forefront. And we are not standing still. There is now a bill before Parliament that will make the first safety country the proper jurisdiction in which to seek asylum, so that a person fleeing genuine persecution claims protection at the first safe border they reach, and not after crossing a dozen peaceful countries to arrive at ours. Let us be plain about what this is and what it is not. It is not a closing of our doors. South Africa prides itself of Ubuntu. There are many things that are happening, which we agree are a direct result of illegal immigration. The ANC urges government to place this compact on the agenda of the African Union's mid-year coordination meeting at Al Ain in Egypt. It is not an instrument of exclusion, nor a retreat from the African inheritance of generosity. To those in flight, it is a structural offering rooted in Ubuntu and in solidarity of the frontline states that once sheltered our own. We are not being blackmailed when we are reminded about our history, but equally, we must address the truth and the facts that illegal immigration has become a burden for South Africa and affected South Africa and South Africa alone. Into opportunity at home, and disciplining the language and political conduct around migration in the spirit of the Durban Declaration. Stop calling abantu amakwerekwe, amakurugamba, all sorts of names. Stop calling people kafirs in their own land by the racist elements. That must stop. Argue your point, raise your issues, but do not denigrate. Do not spew hatred and ethno-nationalism. Like Yuma Sigela said, sonke singabantu. And South Africa pride itself of Ubuntu. And our security services who stood their ground with professionalism and restraint. Where there was violence, intimidation and looting, because there was, the law took its course, and it will continue to do so. We have said it before and we say it again. The enforcement of immigration law is the work of the democratic state and the state alone. No mob, no march, and no self-appointed commander may take that power into their own hands. Members of the media, thank you very much for honoring us by attending this media briefing, enabling us as a party to communicate our views, our decisions, and also our positions in the public discourse, in the narratives that have been built. As much as we will be talking about other issues, but in the main, we will focus on the 30th of June. Good afternoon to you all, and through you, the people of South Africa. The 30th of June has come and gone. As the dust settles, we wish to speak plainly to the nation, to reflect honestly on what we have just lived through, and to place on record 2 decades before the public. Let us begin with gratitude. On the 30th of June, the country stood firm. They called for a shutdown. South Africa did not shut down. Our children went to school. Our workers went to work. Our buses, our taxis, and our trains ran. Our clinics and our shops stayed open. The economy kept its feet, and we foresee no grave job losses from the action. For this, we thank the overwhelming majority of South Africans who refused to be conscripted into anarchy. And we thank the men and women of the South African Police Service for maintaining law and order in the Republic. The Border Management Authority for the sterling job they are doing on a daily basis. And our security services who stood their ground with professionalism and restraint. Where there was violence, intimidation and looting, because there was, the law took its course, and it will continue.
I just want to reflect on something that I saw on social media. Have you been able to have a conversation with President Cyril Ramaphosa? Of course, I understand that March and March Associates Ngizo and Phakile Mbalula had a conversation with the president. Have you been part of any of those conversations? Have you met with the president?
No.
Were you aware of that meeting? And are you aware perhaps of what came out there? Of course, you do share the same sentiment. So have you engaged with March and March Associates about that meeting? Jacinta, thank you very much for your time this morning. As you heard it there, Stephen, you would have seen, of course, those visuals that we saw on social media of March and March Associates that met with President Cyril Ramaphosa. Jacinta Zuma stating that she was not aware of that particular meeting, and at this point she's also not aware of what was actually discussed.
Demonstrations and is expected to proceed through Hillbrow before concluding at the Constitution Hill in Braamfontein. Protest leaders are leading the progression under a heavy police escort. Chants and struggle songs have echoed through the CBD, while